90.1 FM.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. We got a great show lined up for you today. You will not be left dissatisfied today because we got Mr. James Charles Evers helping us out today, and we got Mr. James Meredith calling into the show. So we appreciate everybody for always tuning in. We got a lot going on today, and I just appreciate everybody for helping out and chiming in every week. So we're about to go live in just a second, as soon as they bring us up. Our call-in number is 601-948-5950. So sit back, relax, and enjoy for a great show. Yeah, we got Mr. James Meredith about to call in just a second.
All community-minded issues of Jacksonians and Mississippians here.
Ooh, it's been a long week, and it's just Wednesday. But I'm excited. I am really excited about what we got going on. Yep, Mr. James Meredith is going to be and calling in just a second. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All of our first-time viewers, go ahead and hit the like button. All our returning viewers, go ahead and hit the heart button. We appreciate Mr. Michael Jordan, one of our great sponsors, Michael Jordan Transportation Services. Make sure you go to MJStransportation1.com to check out all of his offers. Great business, great opportunity out there. Boy, if y'all don't understand, I'm excited. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Reviving Mississippi. I'm your host, De'Keither Stamps. We appreciate everybody for always tuning in. And for the last 7 years now, we've been on the air every Wednesday night, bringing you some great information. And today will not be short of that. We got, hello, caller. Welcome to the show. Good afternoon. 1 second. We're about to do the intro, and we'll bring you on in just a second.
Okay, good enough.
All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Reviving Mississippi. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Today's going to be a great show. We got none other than Mr. James Meredith calling in, and we're going to be talking about several issues of Mississippi.
So we're on hold, and they're starting the program, and we'll wait for them.
Yeah. And as we open every show, we always say, remember all those people who are going through bereavement. You know, bereavement is a very, very tough thing, especially now, where you have situations where family members can't come together and hug each other like they normally do and embrace and help get through these trying times. Just make sure that you be a friend so you can have a friend when your time coming, because I don't know much, but I do know your time will come and you're going to need a friend, and you have to be a friend in order to have a friend. So make sure you reach out to those who are going through bereavement, even ones who are in the hospital. Most of the time when folks get sick, everybody gathers at the hospital. Well, now that's not our operation. That's not our modus operandi. So we appreciate everybody who helps out and leans on those people in those times of need. So right now, our sponsors for this week is Mr. Michael Jordan Transportation Services. They have a wonderful business. If you're looking for quality transportation services to help you get around town, elderly, senior, disabled, make sure you tune in to MJStransportation1.com so that you can get scheduled for your next ride. Safe, clean, enjoyable rides all over Central Mississippi. Also, if you're looking for employment opportunities, make sure that you go to that website. He's looking for full and part-time people to help get our senior citizens and disabled and developmentally challenged people around town. So if that fits your bill and you need those services, make sure you do so. Also, as far as your health is concerned, for everyone wants to boost their immune system, you can go to mynonajuice.com. Mynonajuice.com has been proven to have services out there who can successfully boost your immune system by 30% in 90 days or your money's back. So on the phone here, we got Dr. Meredith. Dr. Meredith, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Well, first, it has been an honor to just, enjoy your history, your life. Dr. Meredith is an iconic figure in world history. He has broken down barriers his whole life. And for those of you who don't know, in 1962, this young man, Dr. Meredith, forced Mississippi to admit him to the University of Mississippi. And in 1966, he started the Walk Against Fear to encourage Black people in Mississippi and the United States to register to vote. Mr. Meredith, are you there?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, the mentorship over the years. I remember just last year, you pulled me to the side at the Capitol one day. You might even remember this. And you gave me a letter. And you said, take this letter and guide your steps with the words on this paper. It was a 4-page letter. And it definitely changed my whole public service life. You might not even remember that, but I appreciate you for giving me that letter. And I still hold it near and dear to my heart.
Well, thank you.
So now, since the flag has been taken down, last week's show was about symbols and substance. And we talked to everyone about the difference between symbols and substance. And your team reached out to us right after that because you have a substantive message that the people need to hear. And I feel everyone needs to pay attention to. And I want to give you the opportunity. Anytime our seniors and our elders, especially if your stature, call in, we'll clear the airways for you. We got about 54 minutes. And I really want to dig into the issues that you were bringing aboard, because you have a simple plan that you've been talking about for years that we need to really focus on, and that you and several other of us also feel is more important than bringing the flag down. And I yield to you, Dr. Meredith.
Well, thank you. I believe that the Black people of Mississippi are now God's chosen people.
Mm-hmm.
But we're chosen to make God's will a reality according to the teachings of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
If we do that, the whole world will follow suit. I'm talking about if we, Black Mississippi Christians.
So when it comes to God's word, God gave us the basic instructions before leaving earth, the Bible. And in that miraculous document, in that book, he goes over some basic commandments that we all should learn from, we all should pay attention to. And I wanted you to kind of go into what you and many others feel are the basic substantive things that we need to do to move forward in this
now,
state.
You know, I'm long-winded now.
Then we got 54 more minutes, so you get all the time you need.
Well, it really started with Moses 4,000 years ago. God called Moses. He caught him at the top of Mount Sinai, and he told Moses he was going to send him back to Egypt to bring the rest of the Israelites, the Hebrews, out of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
But when he got out, all he had to do was bring them back to that mountain, Mount Sinai.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses did what God told him to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when he got back up there, God made him stay 40 days and 40 nights.
Okay.
While he put carved the 10 Commandments in stone. The 10 Commandments are designed to rebuild a broken people.
Mm-hmm.
After 400 or 500 years in slavery in Egypt, they were a broken people.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, that is symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
The same rules apply to all people who want to do good.
That's right.
And actually, the slaves that we're talking about now are the blacks that were in slavery in the United States
Mm-hmm.
for 400 or 500 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, but basically, I suspect that paper that I gave you, if you still got it,
Mm-hmm.
is about what we're talking about.
That's right. It is.
So, it might be good if you all help me.
Right. So when it comes
I know
to
the story well, but I
That's
don't
right.
want to.
I know. So, Dr. Meredith, you know, with all the different symbols that people are taking down today, whether it be flags and renaming streets, the substantive things that you're saying we need to do is get back to the 10 Commandments. If we can just get the basic things of life ingrained in our hearts.
It's actually more simple than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is a long story.
Mm-hmm.
It really, the most important thing I believe that Jesus Christ ever said was that he came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill the law.
Mm-hmm.
The law he was talking about is God's law, the 10 Commandments. And that's what Jesus Christ set out to do,
Mm-hmm.
to show people how to do God's will, which is doing good.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying we just need to read the 10 Commandments.
I'm sorry, absolutely.
Right.
No, God, not just say read them.
Mm-hmm.
When God gave the 10 Commandments to Moses, he ordered Moses to take them back down and teach them to all of the elders.
Mm-hmm.
And the elders were supposed to live them and then teach them to all of the people. And that's where we are now. That's what we have to do now. And I'm fully convinced
Mm-hmm.
that what we have to do is really what we all claim to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that Jesus Christ is the Savior. But Savior is when you do God's will.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say to our governor about how he and Mississippi can embrace God's plan and incorporate?
No, I don't want to. The governor ain't black.
Okay. Well, what do you say to black leadership?
I say to what?
What would you say to black leadership?
Black leadership here. Let me make sure you understand what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Why Jesus Christ is so important. He commissioned every believer to do exactly what he did while he was here the short time he was on earth.
Mm-hmm.
He commissioned his disciples, and they had the power to commission every Christian. When we talk about leaders, we usually talking about the people at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's our problem. It's everybody have to train up children in the way they should go, not the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Every individual.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Jesus Christ did. And everybody know what they're supposed to do. But we're going to have to get all of the people to do all of the things all the time that they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. So we've drifted away from the basic tenets that we need to be subscribing to.
And everybody who believes in Jesus Christ and what he teaches is supposed to follow it and teach it.
Mm-hmm. So talk to us about your study group and how important that is in today's society.
First of all, the most important thing that I've ever done was done since the episode, whatever the crisis is that we're going through,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the disease thing or whether it's the black thing that's going on since the man was killed up in Minnesota. Of course, they've been being killed all the time. But the thing is, we have to do good.
Mm-hmm. And that's incumbent upon us to definitely do good in everything we do.
Absolutely. And when we do good, others will want to do good.
So we have to focus on our own actions so that we can attract right actions.
You understand, if you take a look
Mm-hmm.
at just about everything that's happened, in every case,
Mm-hmm.
the people that all of the talk is about was doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to start to teaching our children and our anybody's a child that don't know good and bad, right and wrong. And I don't care if they're 100 years old. So everybody who do not know or practice
Mm-hmm.
what Jesus Christ taught should do that. And when they do that, others would do right. It don't solve our problem to correct well. Doing good is what we have to do.
Okay. Let me pause for a second. I'm going to read the 10 Commandments because you'd be amazed how many people can't even recite the 10 Commandments. And so for us to be on 100,000 watt radio broadcasting all over the world and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all over the place, I'm just going to read the 10 Commandments for those folks who need to be brushed up. Just give me 1 second, Dr. Meredith. The 10 Commandments. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make false idols. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. And you shall not covet. And those basic things are the substantive things that we need to do as we look at symbols and statues and flags and those things. But the heart of people is where this affects the most.
And I would like to point out just about every single case that's well known in America, that people that got killed or abused were doing something wrong. But nobody ever talk about that.
So as we move forward, and your movement has been going on for my whole lifetime and beyond. The things you've been pushing forward has gone on for several years. And there are several people who've taken what you've done in the past and others and moving it to the next generation. Like Reverend Barber with the Poor People's Campaign. Are you familiar with Reverend Barber?
No, but I'm familiar with Martin Luther King, who started it, that most people know about, from Marks, Mississippi, before he was assassinated in 1968. He was on his way to Marks to start the Poor People's wagon train to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
But you know, Lord have mercy.
It's okay. It's okay. So let's just go here. What can individuals do in their communities and in their businesses to actively promote
basically,
God's simple
as
plan?
I started to say earlier, the most important thing that I have ever done was to organize. Actually, I have organized a Bible society. The idea is to get people to read the Bible from cover to cover. Most people, as you indicate, don't know the 10 Commandments. Fewer people know what Jesus taught. They just know the name.
That's right. That's right. I'd agree with that.
But we're going to have to start living the life.
You're totally right. And for those who don't know, tell us a little bit more about the James Meredith Bible Society of America.
Well, you know, you can't do it without implicating yourself. You know, I've done things that people know about. You mentioned Ole Miss. That was, to me, my first mission from God. The next thing you mentioned was the walk or march against fear that I conducted after Ole Miss. And actually, as soon as that was over, I was supposed to start the last mission from God, which is to do the Bible Society. I mean, everybody talk about the Bible, but few people ever read it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people talk about Jesus Christ,
That's right.
but most people have no idea what Jesus Christ did or what he commissioned people to do,
Mm-hmm.
because they have never read the first book in the New Testament, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no one that can do God's will without knowing what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now that sounds like a statement. God tells me no man, particularly James Meredith, can do it.
Mm-hmm. And so in today's society, we definitely have gone away from a lot of godly activity.
Who train up our children in the way the Bible tells us anymore?
It's definitely not commonplace.
But actually, what I really believe, I believe that the Black Christian
Mm-hmm.
is obligated. It's his job. It's our job
Mm-hmm.
to do God's will, because
Mm-hmm.
we are the newest religious group in the world.
Mm-hmm. So we're duty bound.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what would you say to
I'm glad you let me on your show today.
I'm glad you called in.
I was going to say this for 50 years, but I've been scared to say it.
Well, keep talking. We got 30 more minutes. We only at the halfway mark. You ain't got to rush.
Well, basically, as much as I can,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell. I've been promising God I was gonna do it, but I haven't. But it's really it's so simple. I mean, well, that quite frankly, the basic idea is to get all the Christian body,
Mm-hmm.
not the officers of the church, not the pastor, but in order for us, let's just talk about Mississippi, because that's where I think Mississippi is the center of the universe. And what God has assigned me to do
Mm-hmm.
is to go to every county in the state of Mississippi and deliver his message for our time. That message is to tell the people that we all claim Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
What he really did
Mm-hmm.
was told people that they should all do good
Mm-hmm.
by avoiding evil.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way you do good.
Mm-hmm.
You avoid doing wrong
Mm-hmm.
or bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not only supposed to do it yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to teach everything that you influence. And okay, if we take George Floyd,
Mm-hmm.
that's just Michael Brown, because they were the biggest names in the last 10 years. Everybody saw what Michael Brown did before he got shot a few minutes later. He went in the store and abused somebody, stole something. Now, nobody have the right to take anybody's life, but we all act like we didn't see the wrong that was done in the first place. I mean, even George Floyd, everybody knows that the police were called because he done something wrong. We got to teach all our people not to do anything wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, that don't excuse somebody else doing wrong. Mm-hmm. But we as a people, we are God's chosen people. Mm-hmm. You see why I'm scared to deliver God's message? Because I know people don't want to hear that. You understand that?
Well, we definitely have things that we have to work on as a people.
And we got to do it.
And it's in-house work. It's not stuff that you're going to see on the news. It's stuff that we have to do inside our own homes, inside our own families, and have a standard. One thing that we've gotten away from over the last several generations is having standards of what's acceptable and unacceptable in our community from ourselves.
But we all know what the standards are. Mm-hmm. We all saw what Michael Brown did. I don't know, nobody didn't see it on television. Mm-hmm. But I ain't heard not one person talk about it. Mm-hmm. We actually all know what George Floyd did. And I've heard a few people say, well, that wasn't enough for nobody to kill him. But that ain't the point. Mm-hmm. The point is, we should train up a child in the way he should go. And a child can be 99 years old if they're uninstructed.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to this calling on your life to fulfill this mission of getting the basics taken care of in life, of the 10 Commandments, for those who just
all of the people who call themselves Christians.
Mm-hmm. For those of you who just tuned in, we're sitting down in a candid conversation with Dr. James Meredith. And he's talking about the different missions that he's been on and called on from God to do. And this present mission is to deliver a message of us getting back to basics. And the basics is those 10 commandments that are prescribed in the Bible. And I yield back to you, Dr. Meredith. Could you just recap what you said earlier for anybody who just tuned in?
Well, there are a lot of people's stories. Moses was born a slave, but his mother didn't want him to be a slave. But she knew that Pharaoh's daughter wanted a baby. Mm-hmm. And so she hid Moses in the river and told the Pharaoh's daughter that she could go get her and claim it as her own. She did, and the Pharaoh took Moses and raised him as his own grandson. Mm-hmm. And when Moses was 40 years old, he still knew he was a slave, and he saw somebody mistreating a slave, and he killed him. He thought it was all right because he thought only the slaves saw him, but they told on him, and he had to run away from the police. Now, of course, most people don't know where Moses went when he ran away was to the wilderness where the Mount Sinai mountain was. He spent 40 years in that wilderness. Mm-hmm. Moses knew every water hole in that desert. And so God called him up at the top of Mount Sinai with the burning bush. But, the bush was burning, but it wasn't being consumed. Mm-hmm. Now, so Moses, stopped, tried to figure out what this is. So God called him. So Moses, I'm going to send you back to Egypt to save all of the slaves. And that's what God telling me. That's what he sent me for. To make people start to follow the teachings of Jesus Christ and the Ten Commandments, and they will become the people who only do good because they avoid all evil.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got a caller. Let me catch this caller, and hold on one second, Dr. Everett. Let me put you on hold and bring this caller in. 1 second. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Hello, this is Dan Gibson. I was just calling in to say hello.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thanks for calling in, sir.
Oh, well, thank you. Councilman Stamps, is he on the air?
This is me.
Councilman?
Yes, sir.
I just want to encourage you and just say hello.
Thank you very much.
It was so good to see you at the Metro Rapids event a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm just proud of everything you're doing.
Okay, well, I really appreciate it. And
how's your mother doing?
Everybody's well. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you for calling in, and we wish you safe travels in your endeavors.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mm-hmm.
You take care.
Take care. Hello, Dr. Everett.
I could not hear.
Okay. Yeah, he didn't have a question. He was just calling in saying we're having a good show and just thanking us for being on the air.
But I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Right. He just called in and said thank you for applauding our efforts. So back to the 10 Commandments. Oh, we got one more caller. Hold on, let me see if I can get this one in here. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. Turn your radio down, caller.
Okay.
Hold on.
Listening to what the gentleman was saying.
Hold on one second.
And I agree with.
Hold on one second, caller. Hold on 1 second. Let me conference this in. Let me make sure I do this right now. Dr. Everett?
Yes.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can merge these calls together. Ma'am, how you there?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
I was listening.
Oh, shoot.
Hello?
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get this phone to work right. Oh, we may have lost him, but go ahead with your comment, ma'am.
I agree with the gentleman's comment. I know it sounds harsh to a lot of people, but at some point in time, we have to stop making excuses for Black people action. We got to stop it. We got to be more realistic. We need to teach our young people. Okay, we know that there are good and bad police officers. We get that. We get that. We understand that police officers sometimes overstep, but what about the good officers? The officers that will go to the very end to keep from having to take a life or keep from having to take actions against. But what about our young people that think it's okay to curse the police, that think it's okay to fight the police, and then when you lose the fight, there's an issue? Why aren't we telling our young people that when you're stopped by the police, that you do this, you do that? You can't win out there in the field. You win in the courtroom, not out there. Why aren't we telling our young people that they shouldn't be fighting the police?
Well, I appreciate you for calling in, ma'am. Let me try to get Dr. Meredith back on the line. I think we clicked him off trying to join you in.
But Councilmember Stamps, I would like to see you all have more programs with our young African American males, telling them this is how you interact. Conflict resolution. Why aren't we angry that they're killing each other constantly in the street? Nobody is saying that they're killing each other. Why aren't we trying to help them learn how to handle conflict as opposed to getting a gun?
I appreciate it, man. Let me try to get Dr. Meredith back on the line, and I'm gonna answer your call just a second. All right, and we are, but young folks gonna copy the actions that the grown folks around them are doing. So we got to clean up grown folks, because young people are born into this community, and it's the community we gave them. If they learn something, we gave it to them. So we got to clean ourselves up and be better examples, me included. I ain't excluded, me included, so that we can, and that's what Dr. Meredith is talking about, is that we have to be better examples to our young people, because they're going to copy what we do. And all of us have to take a look in the mirror and say, let me just start with the 10 Commandments. Let's just start with the basic steps of the 10 Commandments to move forward in my life. And that's the message that he's saying. And I appreciate Dr. Meredith. I think he clicked off. Let me try to get him back on the line here. I'm going to call him on my cell phone.
Reach Michael Harris.
Well, that's the message today, ladies and gentlemen, is Dr. Meredith is on the line. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Well, I wanted to comment on what he was saying about Mike Brown and George Floyd. You know, it's unfortunate that.
Okay. Call back in, caller. Hello, caller. Welcome back to the show. Hello? Dr. Meredith?
Yes.
Okay, I think we got disconnected here. We're back on the line. We got a caller that was trying to make a point.
I wanted to respond to that, what the lady was saying.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Meredith.
Well, good brings on good.
Mm-hmm.
And what we need to do is teach good to everybody. That's what Jesus Christ ordered his believers to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then that make other people do good.
Mm-hmm. You're right. I got one more caller just called in. Let me get her on the line, Dr. Meredith. And
Sure.
All right, ma'am. What's your question or comment?
I was saying the clip that they showed with Mike Brown stealing those cigars was incorrect, because they came back and corrected. He actually paid for those cigars. And with George Floyd, they actually found out that the money that he was spending at that store was not counterfeit. So those reports that they put out there prematurely wasn't true.
Okay.
So that's what I was calling to comment on.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. And Dr. Meredith, so we got about 10 minutes left to go on the show. And you called in today to talk to us about some basic things that we need to get back to. And could you just reiterate?
And I appreciate you because from now on, I'm going to be less afraid to tell the people the truth, because the truth is what's needed, and the truth will make you free. I have been afraid to tell the truth because I knew people wouldn't like it.
Mm-hmm. And so let's recap. For those who just tuned in, if you don't know, Dr. Meredith, in 1962, he forced Mississippi to admit him into the University of Mississippi. And in 1966, he started the Walk Against Fear to encourage Black people in Mississippi and the United States to register to vote. And those were his first missions from God. Now he's on a mission to get people back to the 10 Commandments and the basic principles in the Bible. And Dr. Meredith, could you just expound on that for those who may have just tuned in, and so that we can wrap up?
Yes. the Ten Commandments are designed to rebuild a broken people. The blacks in America, after 400 or 500 years of slavery, are still a broken people. And basically, the reason blacks are Christians, the slaveholders made the blacks Christians in order to keep them from rebelling, like the Nat Turner Rebellion. And they could not take care of all of the Ten Commandments. They couldn't teach the people everything that Jesus Christ taught. And that's where we have to come and speak our religion.
Mm-hmm. And this is a message not just to Black leadership, but Black people as a whole.
My mission is to get the Black regular Christian, the lay Christian,
mm-hmm.
to do their job. Only the lay Christian can teach every child and every person that's informed.
Mm-hmm.
Only the lay Christians can do that job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're totally right. So for those who want to continue and further your mission, Dr. Meredith, how do they get in contact with you? We got some information from your team. Can we share that information of how people can contact you and be a part of and help you on your journey?
Well, absolutely. And really, yes.
Okay.
And they know more than I do.
So the I Care Citizenship International Institute for Citizenship Awareness and Responsible Engagement. The website is icareusa.org. That's www.icareusa.org. The telephone number is 601-483-0656. That's 601.
And we are a tax-exempt Christian organization.
Yes, sir. So those who want to donate, definitely do that. But more importantly, help spread the message, contact them and help them to move forward, because the basic instructions before leaving Earth, and the basic instructions start with the Ten Commandments. So
absolutely.
And we read them off a second ago. The world has definitely gone away from those basic. You should have no other gods before me. You know, in such a time as this, we have a time where 2020 came in, and in 2020 we started the year off with prison riots, and then we had floods, we had a pandemic that's still going on. We have people getting sick and dying all over the world. We got a swarm of killer locusts that have come in. We have a dust storm that started off in the deserts of Africa that swooped in. We've been shut in our house for months. Now, I think that's a message from a higher power. With all that to happen in a span of about 6 months, I think that's a message, and hopefully we get the message. What'd you say, Dr. Meredith?
I think that this is God setting up for me to finally do His will.
Mm-hmm. So from my standpoint, I only know one entity, that's God, that can do all that. He stopped sports. He stopped basketball, stopped football, stopped
And
baseball.
guess what he did?
What's
He
that?
had me to hand you this propaganda that he had handing out for over 50 years.
That's right. That's right. So, you have any parting words, Dr. Meredith, before we sign off?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, no, thank you.
This is the most important thing that ever happened in my life.
Wow. 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 I'm honored to have you on, Dr. Meredith. Anytime you want to call in, anytime your team wants to get you on, let me know, and we'll make it happen. Anything that I can do to help, we're going to definitely make sure we promote the Bible study mission. We're going to definitely promote, the basics, because we can't get the 10 Commandments right. We can't get anything else right. So we appreciate you for spreading this word and being a champion for justice and being a champion for just people, period, and moving our city, our state, our nation, and our world forward. And thank you very much, Dr. Meredith, for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the icon. Dr. Meredith has been working hard over several years in several ways to move Mississippi forward. And move our world forward. And he often says that Mississippi is the center of the universe. And if you can change Mississippi, you can change the world. And every step that Mississippi makes in order to change, changes and has a ripple effect across the whole world. And remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that Mississippi is the center of the universe. Think about that now. Mississippi is the first state that can prove that the very idea of America can work. Mississippi is one of the few states that has a large population of all groups. You got, a good group of black folks, good group of white folks, but folks got to work together. And we can work together. We love each other. We may not just like each other all the time. Most of us in Mississippi believe some of the similar things, no matter what race you are. We just got to work together and not allow some of the national things to pull us apart. It's good folks all over the state that just get divided up because, see, the devil's about division. So when they come in and they throw the race stuff out there, that divide people up. They throw the political stuff out there, that divide people up. But at our core, we good people. We've been through all this stuff over the last 6 months, and we still here. We still here. And we're still working together. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. We've been through prison riots, which shook everything up. Floods. I mean, some of the most massive floods we've had in a long time. 2 rounds of them. In some places, 3 rounds of them. Back to back. As soon as the flood happened, they got to clean it up. House got flooded again. And some folks' house got flooded 3 times over the course of about 5 weeks. So as soon as they start cleaning up, then right after that, we get hit with shutdown and pandemic and all that. Then we had all these other things. Tornadoes. Remember the tornadoes that came through Mississippi? They said they were the widest stretch of tornadoes in Mississippi history. Then right after that, we had the resurgence of the pandemic. So we've been through round and round. They shut football down, shut baseball down, shut basketball down. Only God can do that. And Dr. Meredith's message is about the 10 Commandments. Some of his things about, we all got to work some of these things out. We have to work these things out in order to grow together, in order to make our place a better place. And that's what we're charged to do, is to give our children a better world. When I was growing up, the saddest thing I have right now is that most of our communities are more segregated now than they were 30 years ago. When I grew up, it was all kinds of people in our neighborhood. But now, most of our children in this state grow up segregated again. Most of them do. And that's the sad part. We have to learn to live together, love each other. And that's what America stands for, is the ability for people of different races, different beliefs and backgrounds, but can come together around a common cause called America and work together to build a community. And Mississippi is the center of that universe. And if we can get people to work together in Mississippi, you can get people to work together anywhere. I believe it to my core. That's why I love Mississippi. And I know you do too. So take some time out today, right now. Write a few things down on how you can make your space a better place, how we can work better together, and let's go do it. A lot of times right now, we spend more time arguing than we do progressing, even when we agree. We do it in our home. Well, first, we do it in our hearts. Then we do it in our homes. We do it in our communities. We do it in our cities and our state. So my message today is start with you, yourself personally. Take one step towards making yourself better, me included. I'm gonna do the same thing. And we're gonna work together toward making our space a better place here on this earth. You know, Dr. Meredith's message basically lined up and said the 10 Commandments. He said, thou shalt not have any gods before me. You shall not make idols. You shall not take the name of the Lord God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your father and your mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, and you shall not covet. Now, come on. We can do that. And as we end every show, ladies and gentlemen, we always say, never let anybody put you in a position where you don't love your own people. Because when you hate your own people, you are part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. I love you, Jackson. I love you, Mississippi. And we'll see y'all next week. Handyman, take us out of here. What a show. Man. Dr. James Meredith called us up to come on the show. We appreciate him. And thank y'all for tuning in. I love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. God bless.